I couldn't believe it. I was lying there on the floor, writhing in agony from what appeared to be the side effects of my blood pressure meds. I cried to my wife, "Take my blood pressure. I need to see if I'm having another reaction to those pills." She ran into the bedroom, grabbed the device, and tested my pressure. Looking down at me with terror in her eyes, she shrieked,
193 over 87? I'm calling an ambulance.
"Shit!" I yelled out. Well, actually, I yelled out something else, but I have to keep this PG. You know, these pills aren't working and the side effects are wrecking me. What am I supposed to do? So with tears in my eyes, I was taken to the ER. And after being poked and prodded at for probably over 2 hours, what worried the doctors the most was that my EKG was off on all 3 levels. So I knew my heart was really struggling to pump blood and not shut down on me. And after almost another hour or so of mostly just waiting to get released, I was sent back home. The doctor told me to rest and do not do anything strenuous and to stay away from alcohol. Gee, thanks a lot, I thought to myself. He also told me something serious was wrong with my heart, likely a result of high blood pressure, and yet he gave me no real solutions. Just a, let's wait and see and hope for the best kind of thing. But what shocked me the most is that no one thought to address the core reasons for my high blood pressure. Now I'll tell you more about my story and how my doctor couldn't help me in a moment. But needless to say, just managing my blood pressure, it took complete control over my life. I had failed to see my common symptoms that were clearly telling me that something was very, very wrong. And what bothered me the most was that my daughter had to watch me fight for my own survival over the next days and weeks. And it's really something that no child should ever have to see. In a state of pain and guilt, I told her, "Cammie, this is why you're supposed to take care of yourself. Really, look at me," I begged, "because I'm showing you what happens when you don't." I said this while trying to lift myself up and losing that particular battle. It was a powerful moment for her and me. Seeing the fear in her eyes, it forced me to pay extreme attention to the 7 subtle symptoms that were the direct result of my high blood pressure. I also discovered 3 things you can literally start doing today that are shown to help lower blood pressure back to a healthy, safe level. Hi, I'm John Powell from 5H Labs, a premier health research company. I've spent years dealing with my own blood pressure issues, asking questions and evaluating solutions. But most significantly, I've performed countless hours of painstaking research that have led me to understand the core symptoms, causes, and consequences of unmanaged blood pressure. Like so many of us, I suffered horribly from 7 high blood pressure symptoms, silent symptoms I didn't know were trying to warn me about a potential heart attack or stroke. And just like so many of us, I didn't listen. I didn't know how to listen. I didn't realize that by simply ignoring these 7 symptoms every day, I was actually increasing the chances of something really bad happening to me, something totally out of my power or control. But high blood pressure wasn't my only problem. The meds my doctor gave me, they just had gnarly side effects. They were honestly as bad or worse than my actual hypertension symptoms. I mean, I was completely miserable, virtually 24/7. I couldn't sleep, I was tired all the time, emotionally overeating, and I had constant debilitating pain in the back of my neck that made the idea of ripping my head off appealing. The constant aching and pain drove me absolutely nutso. Oh, and this pain in the back of my neck was a sneak preview of just one of the 7 symptoms I didn't know were trying to tell me to pay attention to my high blood pressure or something really bad was about to happen. Now I'll tell you more about it and the other 6 symptoms in just a minute. But first, why are you listening to me? Well, my grandfather Anthony invented time release. Think 12-hour products like Contact and Geritol. But Anthony didn't stop with his work after he left the Bayer Corporation. He went on to focus his biochemist talents into the supplement industry by starting the very first supplement company to have time release. Now, part of my purpose in life is continuing his legacy of helping people find the most effective ways to live their lives. So let me ask you an important question. What if the everyday health challenges that you might be experiencing right now are related to 7 specific symptoms of high blood pressure, like mine were? Wouldn't you want to know what those 7 critical symptoms are? Well, at Fight Age Labs, we're on a mission to create awareness about common blood pressure symptoms. Symptoms that many of us think are just a regular part of just getting older. Yet, this couldn't be further from the truth, because when you know that too much systolic pressure and a lack of diastolic relaxation can predictably cause damage to your heart, veins, and arteries, understanding your numbers is, well, it's everything. And knowing the missed symptoms most people never associate with high blood pressure is one of the most important decisions you can make for your longevity and overall well-being. So, if you have high blood pressure at or above 140/90, and there are people who love and count on you, watch this free presentation all the way till the end. You owe it to them and yourself to find out if your symptoms could potentially be caused by unchecked or improperly managed high blood pressure. Now, keep in mind, these 7 symptoms aren't a diagnosis by any means. They're meant to open your eyes and help you understand the potential reasons behind premature rapid aging and your overall longevity. Our intention isn't to scare you, but rather empower you with the truth about what's likely happening inside of your body, and more specifically in your heart, which is the life force of your health and longevity. This information has already helped thousands of people feel in charge and secure in their health now and later during their golden years. That's why we're so passionate about getting this information out to the masses. So, if you're overweight, even just those extra 10 pounds you just can't seem to shed, you're not getting enough sleep, you're dealing with way too much stress, your diet is too high in sodium, you're not getting enough or any cardio exercise, and you're wondering just how seriously it's all affecting your blood pressure, you couldn't have found this special report any sooner. Likewise, if you smoke or drink alcohol, it's super important to see what these substances are potentially doing to your hormones, blood vessels, and circulation, and yeah, your blood pressure. According to the NIH, 1 in 3 adults in the United States have high blood pressure, and many of us, or most of us, don't even know because the symptoms can be silent. These 7 symptoms I'm going to talk about are likely your body trying to warn you that your heart, veins, and arteries are under attack, like an invisible timer counting down to potential preventable trauma. That is, if you take these tips I'm going to reveal to heart, pun intended. Because really, high blood pressure can constrict the heart, veins, and arteries like a vice grip, causing it to work way too hard to pump blood and nutrition into the parts of your body that need it now for you to thrive. The good news is, there are diet and lifestyle options that can potentially help address these 7 common symptoms, and without adding any supplementation to your medicine cabinet. But before I talk about what these 7 symptoms are, it's crucial to truly understand what high blood pressure really is. Simply put, blood pressure is how hard your heart is working to pump blood and oxygen into the parts of your body that need it for energy, nutrition, and life force. Blood pressure is also how easily your heart can relax. The top number, the systolic, is how hard your heart contracts. The bottom number, the diastolic, is how much pressure is being produced in between heartbeats. When the systolic number is above 140, your heart is likely struggling to move fresh blood and oxygen through your veins and arteries, which produces signs and symptoms you probably shrug off as just a part of life. But the symptoms you're likely feeling right now is your body trying to tell you, pay attention, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, when the bottom number or the diastolic is above 80, your heart is likely struggling to relax in between beats. This adds even more pressure to your veins and arteries, and if you also have narrowing or calcification in your arteries, your chances of tragedy striking go way up. In fact, prolonged high blood pressure can dramatically increase arterial calcifying and hardening, and every small rise in systolic and diastolic pressure can increase the chances of heart attack or stroke, even in young adults. The worst part is, Millions of people report having no symptoms involved with their high blood pressure. They expose themselves to unnecessary risk when they say, well, it wasn't that big a deal. Well, the truth is, you're likely having symptoms right now. Don't believe me? Well, it's estimated that 30 to 50% of adults over 50 have higher than healthy blood pressure. Of course, if you don't know what those symptoms are, you can easily adjust to or often ignore your symptoms altogether. You'll simply believe that it's just a part of life. So I'm going to reveal the 7 high blood pressure symptoms you should never ignore. These signs and symptoms are your body telling you, I need help today, right now. And when you listen, you can make simple adjustments to your lifestyle and habits that are shown to have positive effects on unhealthy blood pressure, with or without medical help from your doctor. Now, when my blood pressure was 140/90 and above starting in my 40s, I started getting all kinds of symptoms. I'm a type A person who stresses about work and the people I want to help and take care of. And my fast living had caught up with me. Yet, because of my serious autoimmune disorders, I didn't immediately connect my high blood pressure with the problems I was having. These are the same 7 symptoms I mentioned in the beginning of this free video. Through my own experiences, I organized the symptoms in a way that makes sense. 1. Stiff neck and jaw. 2. Constant headaches. 3. A tight, sometimes painful chest. 4. Fatigue and weakness. 5. Nausea and vomiting. 6 is shortness of breath. And the one symptom that's always directly affected me the most, 7, and that's sleepless nights. I lived with those 7 symptoms, fully believing it was just the price of being me and the other health challenges I deal with. But at about 40, I started keeping track of my blood pressure at home. And at the request of my doctor at the time, I bought a blood pressure device from Walgreens. Now, when I took my blood pressure for the first time, I was shocked when my systolic number was over 200 and my bottom number, the diastolic, was over 100. I had gone from pre-hypertension straight up to red alert hypertension in a heartbeat. As I continued monitoring my blood pressure, I watched as my symptoms were directly going up and down based on my numbers. When I saw plain as day how my unchecked high blood pressure caused direct damage to my blood vessels, veins, arteries, and heart, I took a major pause. Heart problems and high blood pressure run in my father's side of the family, so I began paying major attention to these 7 symptoms that took over my life. That's when the intense pain in the back of my neck became the only thing I could think about. All of my research pointed directly to an acute lack of circulation and a heart that was working way too hard without virtually any relaxation. The tightness in my chest, it became acute inflammation and pain. I later discovered that unchecked or improperly treated high blood pressure can injure blood cells and vessels, and the very first thing any body does to repair itself is to inflame the injured areas. In other words, the more blood pressure goes up, the more injury you have, says Dr. Webb, a well-known expert. Here's the thing. With unchecked, undertreated, or mistreated high blood pressure, it can quickly become a cycle of repeated cellular vessel damage and, therefore, more acute inflammation. By the way, the acute inflammation, all by itself, is known to accelerate premature aging, which only increases free radicals and more cellular damage, especially in the heart. For me, that meant my heart was working harder than ever just to barely give me enough energy to barely keep moving, while my blood pressure-related symptoms just kept making my life scarier. I was nauseous all the time and threw up almost every day, which was a sign of really high blood pressure. I even threw up in my local, very small-town coffee shop, literally out of nowhere. Talk about an embarrassing moment. It really made it hard to go back there for a while. But that was far from it. My headaches were a constant, annoying reminder that my heart was struggling to stay healthy. When I realized my symptoms weren't just me getting older, getting my blood pressure into a healthy range became the most important thing in my life. So I went back to my doctor, who put me on meds. She initially put me on an alpha blocker. And I won't lie, I couldn't decide if my symptoms or the side effects were worse. I was dizzy, nauseous, and every part of me hurt. I couldn't drive, I couldn't breathe well, and I couldn't focus on anything. I quickly went back to my doctor and she replaced my meds with a beta blocker, but the side effects were just as bad. I felt even more dizziness, and I couldn't sleep no matter how tired I was or how late in the night it got. The further lack of sleep made me feel like I was losing touch with reality. I forgot what it felt like to be rested, healthy, and energized. I looked like it too. My eyes had one look, dark and puffy. The combined internal inflammation and external puffiness made me look and feel years older than I was. And with tremendous sleep deprivation, my emotions were all over the place. And I couldn't focus on anything I needed to do, which made the stress factor even more acute. The overall fatigue and inflammation was worse than it had ever been, forcing me to live as a shell of my former self, circling the drain longer and deeper. Needless to say, it was a humbling time for me. I was always active and athletic and strong. That made feeling this weak and fragile traumatic. So I went back to my doctor one last time and she put me on an ACE inhibitor and told me to eat more Cheerios in the morning. No joke. That was the full extent of her nutritional advice. Eat more Cheerios. This is medicine? Is this for real? I asked myself. And I felt so defeated and more scared and confused about my high blood pressure than I ever had before, because I knew the sands of time, they were running out, but I didn't know how to stop it. And even worse, nobody could help me. My doctor kept randomly choosing another prescription to test me on. It was obvious she had zero awareness about how badly the side effects would affect me or what was causing my blood pressure to spike so wildly. Now, as the pain continued to dominate my life, I lost a big part of myself, part of my confidence. Every day was just another test of my pain tolerance and my drive to keep going. Finally, I decided I couldn't keep taking my blood pressure pills. They got my numbers down, some, but the side effects made my life not worth living. I couldn't work, my marriage was falling apart, and I didn't have the energy to do anything I enjoyed. I knew I couldn't continue living like this, and I definitely didn't want my daughter to grow up watching me fall apart at the seams or without a dad at all. It wasn't even just the fragility, weakness, and symptoms. I gained a bunch of weight, which, as someone who also deals with autoimmune issues, isn't safe at all. Every extra pound was a risk to my health and well-being. Also, the ongoing inflammation just continued to break me down. And now that I decided to stop taking my blood pressure meds, well, that's when I shifted my attention and started trying to find ways to naturally balance my blood pressure. As a quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, and I certainly am not recommending you take yourself off your blood pressure meds. That's a choice you should consult with your doctor about. But for me, I couldn't keep living with both my blood pressure symptoms and the painful side effects of the pills my doc kept giving me. Now, I grew up in a health-minded family. That's why I work with the passionate people at Fight Age Labs to get this kind of information to people like you. It's my purpose in life to continue the health-focused legacy left behind by my grandfather. So while I'm not a doctor or even a health professional, I've spent my entire life researching the truth about the human body and what it's really capable of. As my grandfather said, the body is intelligently designed to repair itself when it's given the right tools. Those words really fueled me. After all, high blood pressure is largely a lifestyle-based problem, so slowly optimizing my diet and exercise was my very first step. The first thing I did was take an honest look at the things I was putting into my body. Now, as I hinted earlier, I knew I was treating my body like, I was treating it bad. Something a lot of us do. It's just called being human, right? I drank alcohol on a daily basis, especially whiskey. I love my rye old fashions, but the glass of wine or pour of whiskey was also a ritual to relax and unplug at night, even though I knew it was the last thing I needed. Because alcohol tends to suppress the immune system, trigger higher levels of cortisol, and even stop me from getting a rejuvenating night's sleep. I also enjoy taking my mind away from everything going on in my life, like a lot of people, just to de-stress. Of course, the alcohol creates more stress in the body. It gets in the way of producing natural energy, and it usually triggers more inflammation to boot. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul, but the stakes go up every day, as does the potential cycle of emotional dependency. Aside from a few glasses of wine, I ate lots and lots of pasta, emotionally overeating into the late hours of the night. And I exercised less. I went from a younger, leaner physique to a certified dad bod. I decided then and there, I'm making the decision to treat myself better. But at the same time, I didn't want to deprive myself of foods and drinks that gave me pleasure. So I sat down to write a daily food schedule and diary. On Mondays, I'd allow myself my biggest addiction, spaghetti with marinara sauce. On Tuesday, I gave myself permission to have ice cream. On Wednesdays, I let myself have a glass of red wine. I basically let myself have a cheat every day that made it easier to make healthier choices more often while still enjoying the food and drinks I love. Then I added 3 blood pressure managing secrets into my daily routine. 1 was a stress reset, 2 is taking Epsom salt baths, and 3, cleaning the kidneys. Now, the stress reset is super simple and ridiculously effective. All you need is the floor and a chair or a couch. This secret exercise isn't a yoga pose or just a deep breathing exercise. Its purpose is to help take pressure off your heart by letting gravity do all the hard work. Here's the why behind this one simple posture that can potentially help bring your blood pressure into a normal range. You see, blood runs down the legs and back up the legs through the soleus, or the outside muscle of your calves. That's why the soleus is often referred to as the second heart. Here's a key point. The blood circulation up and down our legs is massively affected by how much we sit these days. Sitting down for long periods of time makes blood pool in our large arteries, forcing the heart to pump even harder to produce circulation. In even the healthiest of people, many experts say that sitting often for long periods of time is as bad as smoking. Now take an inventory of how much you sit every day, every single day. Odds are you see how important it is to free up that pooled blood and get it back into circulation without putting all the burden on your heart. This is an easy posture that anyone can do, and the potential positive effects on your blood pressure are available to you in just 15 minutes a day. It's called the stress reset. With this simple posture that anyone can do, you're able to access the parasympathetic state, which is the relax and recover part of your autonomic nervous system. When you add the known benefits of deep breathing with this little known posture, it can have even more positive effect on your numbers. The second secret is taking daily Epsom salt baths. Now, did you know that magnesium is the spark that creates all your energy? Did you also know that just by watching one of your favorite shows on Netflix, you're using up massive amounts of your magnesium reserves? Every thought, every movement, everything you do requires ample magnesium levels. But what happens when your magnesium levels get too low? You take a magnesium supplement, right? Well, no. A great way to get your magnesium is through your skin, which is the body's largest organ. In a piping hot bath, pour in 2 to 4 cups of Epsom salts. This is one of the best ways to get magnesium directly into the bloodstream without taking supplements. It's also some much needed you time. Just relax in your bathtub and let the magnesium get into your bloodstream where it can help produce natural energy so you can get moving again and combat painful inflammation. It's an effective, soothing way to naturally manage and maintain healthy blood pressure numbers. Now, the third secret to help manage healthy blood pressure levels is through your kidneys. Did you know that your kidneys play one of the biggest roles in your blood pressure? Turns out, they maintain a healthy balance of sodium in your body. When the kidneys have too much of something called aldosterone, you're likely retaining too much sodium, and high sodium levels are one of the top causes for prolonged high blood pressure because sodium affects the water pressure in your veins. Your veins and arteries need to be at the Goldilocks zone, not too much, not too little. So too much salt means too much water is retained in the blood, which puts undue pressure on your artery walls, otherwise known as high blood pressure. But there's a quick, easy, natural way to help the kidneys process sodium more effectively. It's lemon juice. Yep, regular old lemon juice. In a recent clinical study, doctors reached the conclusion that consumption of lemon juice can have a positive and significant effect on lowering blood pressure in patients, systolic and diastolic. I drank my lemon juice combined with cayenne pepper, which is known to open up blood vessels, and a tablespoon of pure maple syrup for flavor. These three things combined with sensible moderation helped me bring down my numbers. But I needed more ways to help manage my blood pressure, so I started researching different supplements and supplement companies. It was around this time when I reached out to Fight Age Labs. I was impressed by their supplement formulations and inquired about helping me manage a healthy blood pressure on top of cleaning up my day-to-day lifestyle. I told them about my history with high blood pressure, as well as my family history in the supplement industry. However, since they didn't have any kind of blood pressure support product, long story short, I worked with their team of experts to help formulate an effective supplement for healthy blood pressure management. Months later, we arrived at a combination that since set the standard in supplements for addressing blood pressure. But before I tell you what that combination is, I need to make one thing perfectly clear. Supplements don't get rid of your health problems. As my famous grandfather said, supplements are meant to do just that, supplement an already ideal healthy diet and lifestyle. That said, there are certain nutrients most people don't get nearly enough of that support healthy blood pressure, even though they're eating the best diet. Modern agriculture has been a blessing, but it isn't without its downsides because vital nutrients have been taken out of our soil. In the few years since Fight Age Labs released its healthy blood pressure support formula, thousands of people have chosen to supplement their lifestyle with its advanced nutrients. The experts at Fight Age Labs took painstaking time and research to develop a proprietary formula that'll help you close the gap and build a bridge toward maintaining optimal blood pressure numbers. Now listen, I know your time is valuable, so let's dive into what's in the Fight Age Labs blood pressure support formula. We combine hawthorn leaf and flower that are known for their abilities to help relax constricted blood vessels because it's a dilation of blood vessels that's thought to produce a healthier blood pressure. It's like untangling a water hose. When your blood vessel opens back up, blood flows like it's supposed to, which makes it possible to feel more energy, get better sleep, and even potentially stabilize both your top and bottom numbers. Next, we added garlic bulb, which is clinically shown in human studies to help actually lower high blood pressure. In human studies, it's reported that the effects of garlic on hypertension, including 12 trials and 553 adults with high blood pressure, suggested that garlic supplements significantly lower SBP. SBP just means maintaining a healthy blood pressure of around 120/80. Furthermore, the average reduction induced by garlic supplements alone or in combination with other blood pressure medications is comparable to that of conventional standard blood pressure drug therapeutics, estimated to reduce the risk of cardiovascular events such as heart attack, coronary artery disease, or stroke by 16 to 40%. That made the inclusion of garlic bulb a complete no-brainer. Next is olive leaf. Olive leaf is known for its positive blood pressure effects. One study states that oleoropin is best known for its blood pressure lowering effect. The same study further states that the ability of oleoropin to lower blood pressure may justify the traditional use of olive leaf in the treatment of mild to moderate hypertension. Our recent study provides significant insight into the mechanism whereby oleoropin reduces blood pressure. Now you know why olive leaf has been used in the Mediterranean diet for hundreds of years. So integrating a supplemental dose of olive leaf into our blood pressure support formula just made perfect sense. And just to be clear, everything in our proprietary combination is based on science. And that's why hibiscus flower had to be considered. In a 2019 study, it stated that using hibiscus 2 times a day can be effective in managing blood pressure in stage 1 hypertension, along with lifestyle and dietary modification. According to top experts, hibiscus has proven even more effective than the common antihypertensive medication called hydrochlorothiazide, without any of the nasty side effects. Plus, unlike the medication, hibiscus didn't cause any imbalance in electrolytes like magnesium. And, as I mentioned earlier, low magnesium potentially means erratic blood pressure. We then added buku leaf, which is known to be a powerful antioxidant. This is of critical importance because free radical cellular damage is a fact of life. One study says there is a strong association between blood pressure and some oxidative stress, also known as free radical damage. Now, don't get me wrong. There are numerous delicious foods that have natural antioxidant activity. Foods like blueberries, strawberries, kale, even dark chocolate. But it would take lots and lots and lots of food to get a fraction of the antioxidant protection your cells need. Also, you know how high blood pressure is known to injure cells, vessels, and arteries. Well, free radical damage can do the same thing. So getting advanced antioxidant protection is a key focus. Next in the blood pressure support formula is juniper berry, which is a natural diuretic. Now, diuretics are generally dehydrating because they also get rid of electrolytes like magnesium, and you don't want that. But juniper berry is different. It's shown to increase urination without losing your vital electrolytes, which can be great for your kidneys. This can help with the retention of fluid, a common symptom of too much sodium in your diet. And as I talked about earlier, the kidneys play a huge role in being able to maintain a healthy blood pressure. They help you urinate more without losing your vital minerals. Also, an essential part of maintaining healthy blood pressure. Now, the last nutrient in this exclusive blood pressure support formula is green tea leaf. Yep, green tea leaf is a great addition to your everyday diet and lifestyle, as is supplementing with it. In just a second, you'll never look at green tea the same way again. Okay, check this out. In a May 2019 study, green tea leaf was shown to help with relaxing muscle contraction. And remember, your heart is a muscle, so being able to potentially help with muscle relaxation may also help with keeping your diastolic at a healthier number. If that makes you crave a cup of green tea, good. And supplementing with it can be just as beneficial to your top and bottom pressure numbers. All of these exotic, essential, and effective ingredients, when properly combined and processed, can play a huge role in healthy blood pressure. But listen, don't just take my word for it. Here's what some of our satisfied customers are saying.
Hi, I'm Danny from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm a type A to the core.
Hi, I'm Mandy from Sacramento, California. My doctor told me I had to get my blood pressure under control, but he didn't tell me how.
Hi there, I'm Mark from Little Rock, Arkansas. I've been struggling with my high blood pressure since I was in my 30s.
I always feel like everything weighs on my shoulders, so I started exercising again, reducing my alcohol intake, and doing the 3 things Fight Age recommended to me.
So being able to use the stress reset 2 to 3 times a day to get my numbers down has been godsend.
The stress reset alone helped me get my numbers down from 170 over 97 down to 130 over 83. Now, I still got a ways to go, but I am so grateful that I found this.
Sleeping better, headaches are gone, and I finally have the energy to feel like I can have a life after I clock out at work.
I just started taking the blood pressure support supplement, so I'll send another update when I see the results myself.
And the best part is, you can experience the benefits of our blood pressure support formula for 90 days. If you don't see and feel healthier blood pressure numbers, you pay nothing. We'll give you a no questions asked refund if you don't feel the healthy blood pressure differences I've talked about. And actually, we're going to take it a step further. Check this out. If your numbers don't make you blissfully happy after using blood pressure support, give us a call and we'll pay you $100. That's how much we believe in this incredible product, chock full of rare antioxidant-rich ingredients. I'm being completely serious too, so I'll say it one more time. If you aren't blown away with the way you feel after 90 days, let us know, and we'll pay you an extra $100 on top of your no questions asked refund. So purchase with confidence, because I'll be real, it's my hope you'll see this moment as a defining moment. In other words, this is the day you decide blood pressure isn't going to bully or scare me anymore. What's the other choices? Continue to brush your symptoms under the rug? I did that for too long and it caught up with me. I wouldn't wish that pain and fright I went through on anyone. I also wouldn't wish any child or grandchild to see someone they love struggle to barely live. So you can take advantage of the information and opportunity I put in front of you, and I hope you do. It's a declaration that you realize my symptoms are not normal and they can and should be dealt with as soon as possible. Of course, it goes without saying, the choice is definitely yours. But let me ask you an important question. If there's even a 25% chance our blood pressure support formula could help you on your new healthier diet and lifestyle journey, isn't it worth at least trying? Because remember, the symptoms of high blood pressure can be completely silent, which might be the scariest symptom of them all. It's like a frog in boiling water, right? Imagine a frog that's placed into comfortable water. When the temperature is slowly raised, the frog doesn't notice it's in harm's way. As the temperature reaches a boil, the frog gets cooked without even knowing it. Well, mistreated or ignored, high blood pressure is very much the same thing. It can slowly cause damage in the most fragile and important parts of your body without you even knowing it. And if you've watched this far into this presentation, there's a reason. That reason is you know how important it is to make the lifestyle adjustments and supplemental changes to your routine. Like today, as in right now, just to drive home how much power you really have. No matter what your current numbers are, I have one more analogy. It's a story my grandfather always used to talk about health. This is the old Native American story about the two wolves told by a grandfather to his grandson. My grandfather changed the story to explain the amount of power I always have over my own health, happiness, and longevity here on earth. He said, "John, there are two wolves who live inside of you. One of these wolves is a symbol of good health and a long, happy life. The other wolf is a symbol for treating your body badly and leaving the people you love far too soon. When you feed the bad wolf, you're always tired and dealing with the consequences or symptoms of your choices. Once you feed the bad wolf enough times, he has power over you and how you treat yourself. The bad wolf is that voice in the back of your head who always says, take one more bite, drink one more beer. It's okay to not be healthy and active. But no matter how long and how much you feed the bad wolf, it's never too late. You can choose to start feeding the good wolf. Yeah, the bad wolf will growl and bite, but he can't hurt you if you don't feed him. When you choose to start feeding the good wolf, the bad wolf loses his power and influence over you. That story always stayed with me, reminding me no matter how bad it might get, I can always start to feed the good wolf now. What's amazing is every capsule of blood pressure support is a symbol of feeding the good wolf. That's what it meant for me, and I hope it will become the same powerful symbol for you too. I always visualize what the nutrients are doing inside of my body and my cells to help get and stay excited. about living my very best life. Again, for me, I like to celebrate feeling like the youthful me again. I'm hiking and enjoying the outdoors. I'm able to maintain my natural energy levels. I'm more passionate than ever in my work and with my wife, if you know what I mean. I'm also seeing my skin visibly tighten up. I'm getting more restful, rejuvenating sleep, and the best part is I'm living with more confidence and a feeling of youth than I have lived in over a decade. So remember, your blood pressure is directly influenced by your diet and lifestyle choices, which means healthy blood pressure can be addressed and managed through diet and lifestyle and with some advanced help from our blood pressure support formula. So order now through our secure and 100% private form and order with confidence knowing that every capsule is produced in an FDA-approved facility. We watch the production of our supplement like a hawk, which is why we recommend ordering at least 3 bottles to ensure you're covered before your next order when you love the results you get. Plus, you save a ton of money by getting our 3 or 6 bottle option. Now don't forget, if you don't get results in 90 days, we'll refund your purchase and pay you $100. So choose from one of the options below and we'll see you on the other side. Are you still there? Okay, you probably have a few questions about health and supplements. So let's dive into some of the commonly asked questions. First one, how do I know if I really need to supplement my diet with blood pressure support? I knew I needed extra support when I couldn't shake the pain in the back of my neck, especially once I knew it was the direct result of my numbers. The other 6 symptoms were the icing on the cake for me. That said, 3 secrets for healthy blood pressure really do work. So always start with what you can right now without supplementation. But adding extra support on top of moving towards a healthier diet and lifestyle is almost always a plus. Again, for me, I wanted to do everything I could to get healthier as quickly as humanly possible. That was my why. You have to decide yours. Is my high blood pressure really that big a deal? Well, I was dismissive of all my symptoms for the longest time. It was only when the 7 symptoms laid me down and almost took me from my family that I wised up. I also couldn't handle feeling so weak and fragile when I identified as being really strong and independent. The rapid aging got me too. I was watching myself getting older by the month, and man, it really made me feel bad about myself. That's why I can't recommend enough from my own experience to address your blood pressure with every tool available to you. And remember, this isn't just about you, it's also about the people who love and rely on you. What decision would they want you to make? Are there other things I can do on top of the tips you already gave me? Absolutely. For one, drink more water. Alkaline water if you can. I know it's kind of a lame tip, but the human body is mostly made up of water, so replenishing your reserves are always important. Of course, if you're sweating a lot from working out or your heart is working too hard, you also need to replace your electrolytes, aka minerals. In fact, did you know that water can actually dehydrate you if you've lost too many minerals from sweating? So, those Epsom salt baths are super important. I always make it a point to go on maybe a 2+ mile walk on a daily basis. It's especially awesome when it's sunny out and I get some natural vitamin D. And on top of that, I make sure and do about 45 minutes of yoga. It really helps build up internal heat and circulation. There are still days when stress gets the better of me and I'll experience a little pain in the back of my neck, but just doing 15 minutes of yoga and getting that internal heat going almost always makes the pain disappear. Oh, and also, sit less, stand up, and walk more. Super simple and super healthy. Oh, and one last tip. Shut off all your devices at least an hour before you go to bed. The blue light can inhibit the natural production of melatonin, also known as your sleep switch. This should help you fall asleep and stay asleep longer and faster, as long as you don't have alcohol in your system. How soon could I feel more youthful and healthier after taking blood pressure support? First of all, everybody is different. The answer is it depends. It depends on how long you've ignored your high blood pressure symptoms, on what you eat every day, how well you sleep at night, and how hard you get your heart pumping with exercises. Someone who's eating too much toxic processed foods in their diet, who has poor sleep quality and doesn't exercise enough, may not experience any results at all. However, if you do take actions to clean up your day-to-day living, you and your loved ones could potentially see a difference that is night and day. The body has this amazing ability to regenerate itself when it's given the right tools. Is your guarantee for real? Yep, you have a full 90 days to decide if blood pressure support works for you as advertised. If for any reason at all you decide you didn't get the kind of results you expected, call us up and we'll get the charge reversed, no questions asked. We genuinely want to help you get results. And if you don't experience those results, we absolutely positively don't want to keep your money. Who can I talk with if I have any questions? We are 100% here for you. So if you have any questions about blood pressure support or how to get the most results, reach out and we'll take care of you. Call us at 800-822-5753 or email us at wecare@fightagasupport.com.